probably think about clear water, drinks, and or rain. But do you ever think about marine life? Sure, there's marine life like sharks and fish. Boring. But there are even more fascinating and amazing creatures. And that, my friends, is what I'm going to talk about today. The first animal I'll be talking about today is the Dumbo octopus. Yes, you heard me, Dumbo octopus. This majestic creature is actually a pelagic mammal of octopus. Do you know the name Dumbo originates to the resemblance to Disney's 1941 film, well, Dumbo. The Dumbo octopus has a skin flap on the mantle of each eye. Also, there's 15 species of genus. The next interesting creature I'll be talking about today is the Paridae, or as it is commonly known, snailfish. Okay, so you may be thinking, Paridae is the most dumbest thing I've ever heard. Well, I'll be telling you something that you don't know about them, hopefully. So you will not think that. Again, hopefully. Oh, this is a new one. Snailfish or sea snails are widely distributed from Arctic to Antarctic and all the oceans in between. The snailfish family contains more than 30 genera and about 410 subspecies, but there are also many undescribed species. Mantis shrimp are carnivorous marine crustaceans. Mantis shrimp typically grow up to 10 centimeters, while some can grow up to 38 centimeters in length. Also, a mantis shrimp can move its claws at like 1,000 per-second, so wow. Did you know a mantis shrimp can move its arms so fast that sometimes water boils? Yes, boils around. Sometimes they even make a boiling water shockwave. The last animal I'll be talking about today is the Tayoni squid. The Tayoni squid is a type of glass squid. Although it is thought that there are 3 species, it is suggested that there is up to 5 species in the genus. The Tayoni squid is clear sometimes, only sometimes. The reason why it is clear sometimes is because it changes colour. When it is clear, all of it is clear, but the heart and eye. The Tayoni squid doesn't squirt out ink. I know, weird. Splash. Oh, there goes that chicken mirror. Better go reel it in again.
Imagine not being able to leave your home and go to school just because of your gender. Well, that's a reality for a lot of people in foreign countries. Some of the countries that absolutely exclude women and girls from getting an education are South Sudan, Afghanistan, and many, many more. Some of you might think that it will be the best thing ever, never having to go to school and staying home all day. But the lack of basic skills or knowledge that the women and girls would not have would be one of the worst things to feel on earth. In some other countries, you need to serve your husband, and he can treat you like his slave. And in these countries, you are expected to do everything for him and around the house. Not to mention that in some countries, you need your husband's permission for anything and everything. Still, in so many places, arranged marriages are happening. If you don't know what an arranged marriage is, it's when your parents and someone else arranges for you to get married, and you do not have any say in whether you want it to happen or not. You might not believe this, but arranged marriages in some countries, the girl can be as old as 12, and the person she is expected to marry can be up to 30 years old or even older. That alone is an 18-year age difference. My speech is on women's rights, and so far I have been talking about the countries which do not believe in women's rights and the things that the government enforces in those countries. But now I'm going to be telling you some of the amazing things that women have done for what they believe in. Some of the women I'm going to be talking about today include Michelle Payne, Bethany Hamilton, Julia Gillard, and Amelia Earhart. The first woman I want to talk about is Michelle Payne. And if you don't know who she is or what she did, she was the first woman to ever win the Melbourne Cup. And she only done that 6 years ago. Bethany Hamilton is an American surfer who originally came from Hawaii and had a tragic accident where a shark had bit off her arm when she was only 13 years old. But that did not stop her from doing what she loved. She continued to surf and rebuild her confidence. Within a few years, her surfing skills were back to the same level they were at before her accident. The third woman I'm going to talk about is Julia Gillard. Julia Gillard was the first ever female Prime Minister, and she was the Prime Minister from 2010 to 2013. The last woman I'm going to talk about is Amelia Earhart, who was an American aviation pioneer and author. An aviation pioneer is someone who has helped the advancement of flight, and she was the first female to fly across the Atlantic Ocean solo. This is an important time in history. Change is happening, and I hope my daughter grows up reading about these inequities as history and not just a way of living. Thank you.
When I wake up, I go to the kitchen and I open the cupboard door. I grab the bread and slap it down on the bread. And yes, you thought I was going to say peanut butter, but no. I grab the jar of Vegemite and put a smooth layer on the bread. Who doesn't love a good spread of Vegemite? Did you know that Vegemite was a byproduct as Australia was trying to make a jar of Marmite that was originally made in the UK? As Australians tried to make this product, they came across a strange bread called Vegemite. The first man who made it was Fred Walker, a great Australian guy, but he made it after who made a similar thing. The guy who made it was Justice Font. He first made it in the UK. Then everyone all hated his creation, so they came Vegemite, the spread that is currently blowing the world of spreads. The word Vegemite wasn't originally called by that name. It was called Parlin. You might be thinking by now what is really inside the Vegemite tin. It is a rich taste of Marmite, but has heaps of B vitamin in the tub. It is also gluten-free, but you don't have to worry about it. But meanwhile, everybody in Australia all have a tin of Vegemite sitting around somewhere. Come on, who doesn't have a tin of Vegemite? But when it was first ever made, it wasn't so popular. Recently, there are 40 countries that can only sell Vegemite. Meanwhile, heaps of people in the US don't like it, but Vegemite is held near and dear to Australian hearts and will always never be forgotten. I don't think Canada is not so happy with the idea of Vegemite. There are all sorts of things that go really well with rice cake, crackers and rice cakes, but its most favourite friend is toast. If you have never tried these combos, you need to get to the shops right now and try that delicious spread that pretty much goes with anything. No, scientists recommend that Vegemite is a great spread because it starts your day with happiness. You might be thinking, what is the best thing that goes with Vegemite? It is a great soft dolly scroll with drizzling cheese that comes from many bakeries around Australia, like Baker's Delight. I know they sell the best scrolls in the world, I am telling you, so you should go grab one. There have been many Vegemite ads, but the best one was in the 1950s, the Happy Little Vegemites. And now you know why we love our Vegemite, why we have our Vegemite, and why I have roasted red cheese every day.
In the ocean, two younger fish met another fish, who asked them, "How's the water?" The two younger fish looked at each other in confusion. "What is water?" Fish. I think about them often, especially every time I look inside my fish tank. So I knew I'd have to tell you about fish. In the ocean, there are a plethora of fish. Some live in cold water and some live in warm water. Also live in hot, salt water and fresh water. Fishes in summer: salmon, pufferfish, angelfish, and tuna. Did you know salmon move salt to fresh water? And every time a pufferfish feels threatened, it will turn itself into an edible ball several times its size, and also have poisonous spines on the back of their skin. Angelfish are the most popular fish for people to own, and also live in salt water. And did you know tuna is the most eaten fish in the world? Did you know fish swim by flexing their bodies back and Fourth, fish have 5 different types of fins. Fish stretch or expand their muscles on one side of their body while relaxing the muscles on the other side. This motion moves them forward through the water. Did you know goldfish can grow up to 30 to 35 centimetres? And a goldfish is in the shape of a football, if you didn't already know that. In my mind, I always wonder how fish breathe. Well, after a bit of research, I finally figured it out. Fish breathe with their gills, and they need a constant supply of oxygen. Gills sit under the operculum. This is called the gill slit. Many fish have 4 pairs of gills, while sharks may have 7. At home, I have 2 goldfish named Goldie and Shiny, and they are always so active, swimming to side, up and down, my eyes can't even catch it. Somehow, they eat so much food and still consume their own. If they eat so much food, I'd reckon they'd be fat and massive. Instead, they're small and skinny. Did you know? Well, now you know how fish breathe, eat, and swim. You could also die from a fish, but you don't have to worry about that. All you have to worry about is fish are one of the best animals in the world.